you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet.
Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
And how are we doing out there? All across this great land and around the world, it's that time for the Conservative Syndicate. Coming to you live right now. Nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And hey, boy, what a difference 24 hours makes, huh? It's amazing, just what took place in the last 24 hours and what it says. See, it speaks volumes as to what's going on in the world right now, internationally. And we're talking about not just economically, but even more so politically, that, hey, people are tired of being told how to run their countries by people that don't have a clue on how to run anything except into the ground. So that's going to be our main topic today, as I'm sure it is every place else. But you get the real honest stuff here. You'll get the stuff that nobody else wants to talk about. We'll give you more than just the 5-minute commentaries on the 30-second sound bites that are probably already being prepped for the main shows tonight, whether it be Fox News or MSNBC or CNN or whatever. And we'll give you the nitty-gritty and the real stuff that you really need to know. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. How are you doing tonight, Joe?
John, I can hardly stand it. What a great day, John. What if you like freedom and liberty? Today is a great day because that's exactly what the common folk of Britain did yesterday and into the night last night. They decided to go ahead and be a free people once again, and all these naysayers and doom and gloom mongers wanted to go ahead and just, oh, you can't do this. Oh, look out! My sky is falling! All that. It's just a wonderful, wonderful day. I could only hope that come November I can be just as happy.
Yeah, so do I, and I think much more to the point here, and we'll get more into this as we get into today's conversations and dialogues and everything else that comes with that, is that we're talking about people who, for all intent and purposes, were sitting pretty at a pretty good place economically. And these people did not consider the economic potential or potential for damage or anything else out of that. They went with their gut check, which was, we have people that don't have anything to do with our country determining what happens in our country. And they decided it's more important than money. Boy, when's the last time that happened was what, 1776?
I don't know. It certainly hasn't happened in our government in quite a while.
No. So
you look at those munches that were sitting on the floor of the chamber of the House of Representatives the other day. You've got to be kidding me. They care about what? They care about not about you or I or anybody else. They care about themselves and how they can make a statement. Oh, these people. You know what? Every last one of them should be booted out and never allowed back in.
Yeah. Well, poetic justice, while they're sitting there crying like a bunch of babies without their pacifiers, over in England, the people are taking charge and taking their governments back and saying, enough is enough. Throw the bums out, I think is a headline I saw in one article. It's Europe tells them it's time to throw the bums out. And boy, we could sure use some of that attitude out here in America today. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Bob Cardoso from Robert Cardoso Live will be with us at the bottom of the hour, and we're gonna
Yay, Bob!
we're gonna tap into his political expertise as to what this change is may bring about, short term and or long term, financially for the UK, and Joe and I will focus more on the political fallout because there's so much in this that we see parallels what's going on here in our country today. And I think the biggest thing I got out of this, the biggest kick I got out of this whole thing, is that once again the quote-unquote experts were befuddled. They get people that came out and said, no, this can't happen, won't happen. The fear-mongering campaigns, George Soros, everything from George Soros to Barack Obama going over the UK. We have people over in the UK that helped lead this Brexit campaign saying, hey, Barack Obama did us a big favor by showing up. So there's a whole lot of things going on here that we're just hoping that this is a reflection or a preview of coming attractions, what happens here in America in November, that enough people say, okay, enough is enough. Enough of the government telling us how much water we can have in our toilets, what kind of light bulbs we can use, what kind of cars we can drive.
How much salt we can have in our diet.
Yeah, and what kind of health care we can buy. All the things that have been going on in this country have been in overload mode since 2008. So, it's not that it hasn't been going on for a while, but it went into overload. Progressivism went in on steroids on November 2008. And so we're going to try to cover that. A couple other things going on. If we have time, we'll get to today. I'm sure we will at some point. Barack Obama has decided he doesn't have to listen to the Supreme Court. Not only does he not have to listen to Congress, he doesn't have to listen to the Supreme Court. It's like, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong. Supreme Court chose not to rule on his immigration, throwing the ruling back to the lower courts, which said, Mr. President, you overstepped your authority. And he's saying, no, I didn't.
He's saying, I don't care.
Yeah. What I'm doing is the right thing to do, and it has to be done now because we have a broken system. Yeah, it's broken because idiots like you don't want to enforce it, okay?
Yeah, exactly. It's broken because it was unused, and now you've let it fester for so long that, there's a huge problem.
Yeah.
But what do? Well, we just ignore that part of it.
Yeah, which, again, is one of the aspects that played into the situation over in the European Union, which we'll talk about later. And then, of course, a long line of things. I think one day a week, one thing a day this week, I guess maybe that's just put it, one thing a day this week came out about Hillary's email server and her situation here, and the list just keeps going. As I said today, as I put on Facebook the other day, there's so many smoking guns laying around on this. This should be classified as a mass shooting. It's just phenomenal, the evidence that's out there, if anybody would pay just a moment's attention to it. I mean, if there is ever such a thing as circumstantial evidence, this is about as close as you're ever going to get to somebody being convicted on circumstantial evidence. Smoking guns, people that don't want to testify, people refusing to testify, and the ones that are testifying are spilling the beans, even if they don't mean to. So it's amazing. So anyway, you got any opening shots, Joe, before we go to break?
Well, I just like this again. Just a great day. I woke up this morning. The first thing I heard was the Brits said, "See you to the EU," and I'm just going, "Thank goodness, thank God." And I was like, hopefully we can do the same thing here because the Trans-Pacific Partnership is exactly what that's going to turn out to be. It will be our European Union, and so we just got to, as a nation, if we care about our sovereignty, go the same way the Brits did yesterday.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how this event is going to affect or influence the, if nothing, maybe minimize the amount of coverage that the TPP gets, even though more than it's already not getting, if that makes sense. Yeah. But let's see if that whole thing just goes into stealth mode. Let's see what happens if Donald Trump trots that out and how Hillary's going to respond to it or not respond to it. as is the modus operandi now, is not to respond, but to attack Donald Trump's.
But he did respond. He brought it up the other day in his speech.
Mm-hmm.
He did. So he did bring it up. He specifically said Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about Clinton.
Oh well, she wants to go ahead and bury it.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to mention anything because she's in support of anything Barack Obama did. If Barack Obama did it,
I like it. It's great.
Yeah, and so our word for today is globalism, because that's what this is all about.
Today's word is globalism, brought to you by the letter G, which means good.
Okay, guys, we got to go to break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We got a lot for you today.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Okay, we're back and ready to kick it into gear here. Right here at the Conservative Syndicate. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And hey, listen, I'm just going to give you just some off-the-cuff sound bites here. I'm going to read them. I don't have the actual sound bite, but some of the immediate responses to the Brexit vote that took place last night. A lot of people thought that the UK or Britain was going to stay in the EU, which means collectively the United Kingdom would remain intact the way that it was. This throws a wrench into the works this morning. Scotland is up in the air right now of whether they want to remain part of the UK or not. But let me just give you some quick, let's just call them tweets because they're about that big, okay, that size. NATO, of course, whenever they say NATO responds, they never identify who in NATO actually says this, which I think is indicative in and of itself of just how secretive this whole global community thing is. Nobody wants their name mentioned, you know. The British people have decided to leave the European Union. As it defines the next chapter in its relationship with the EU, I know that the United Kingdom's position in NATO will remain unchanged. So it's a singular person making the statement, but they don't identify who that is. But somebody making a statement for NATO. The UK will remain a strong and committed NATO ally and will continue to play its leading role in our alliance. French President Francois Hollande, I profoundly regret this decision for the United Kingdom and for Europe, but the choice is theirs and we have to respect it. Okay? French leftist Jean-Luc Mélenchon, this is the end of the world that begins with Brexit. This is the end of a world that begins with this Brexit. I'm sorry, I said that. This teaches a lesson to the whole of Europe. Either we change it or we leave it. This is the time for Plan B. Okay, I wonder what Plan B is in the mind of the globalists right now. But the idea, the end of a world that begins with this Brexit. Oh no, things didn't work out the way we wanted. And it teaches a lesson to the whole of Europe. Either we change it or we leave it. That sounds like something Barack Obama would say. Don't you think? We just got our ass kicked, but we're still doing the right thing.
You know what that says to me? Don't let the people vote. Just make decisions for them like we have been. Don't ever include them.
Yeah. This teaches a lesson to the whole of Europe. Don't ever let your people vote. Ireland, Prime Minister Enda Kenny. He said the result has very significant implications for Ireland because the northern part of Ireland is involved in the UK. He was due to make a statement after a special meeting of ministers, so we're still waiting to hear from him. Spain's foreign minister proposed sharing Britain's small Mediterranean enclave of Gibraltar after Britain had voted to exit the European Union, saying it would allow the overseas territory to maintain access to the EU's single market. So they want, I guess, Gibraltar annexed to Spain so that they can continue whatever ties they believe they have with the EU single market.
That's like having Mexico take back California.
Yeah. German Chancellor Angela Merkel expressed great regret over the result and warned Europe shouldn't draw quick and simple conclusions that would create further division. Senior member Norbert Rolfgang of Christian Democratic Union decried Brexit as the biggest catastrophe in the history of the European integration. That kind of speaks for itself, don't you think? Foreign Minister Paolo Gentiloni from Italy. The decision of the British voters must be a wake-up call. That's all we heard from there. Russia, Konstantin Kosachev, head of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Russia's upper house, told the Interfax news agency that the EU has not solved its main problem to become understood by to be understood by and convenient for the broader masses of the population. But this is an issue for the EU foremost to draw conclusions from, and Britain only second. Japan. Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida released a statement this morning that the country will closely observe the impact of these developments on Japan and the international community. He added that the government of Japan will continue to make efforts to maintain and strengthen the Japan-UK relations. South Korea's economic and financial authorities have held an emergency meeting to discuss ways to fend off any possible fallout from the British withdrawal of the European Union. Greece. This is one I'm waiting to see how these guys play out in this. Prime Minister Alex Tsipras said the result is a negative development, adding that the migrant crisis was partly to blame for the Brexit vote. Wow, partly?
Partly?
Yeah, and we're talking about Greece is upset now because what? The EU bailed them out. So, yeah, that's a big deal.
And they were like, okay, we had a chance to leave, but we ended up staying because they made us stay because they gave us money.
Yeah, they bought us off.
Too.
This is the last one. Swedish Prime Minister Stefan Löfven said the vote result was a wake-up call for the EU and says it must show it can respond to people's expectations. You know, a lot of these are just very generalized statements with no context or no depth to them, which is what you're going to get, I think, for at least the present, is that people are going to make comments, but you're not going to get any depth. And certainly nobody's going to admit that, oh, man, this is frying our butt. You know, we're going to fry because of this. Outside of the globalists themselves, the people on the outside that, use their money and influence to direct what goes on the inside. I wonder what George Soros is thinking this morning.
Wow, I spent a lot of money and I wasted it.
Yeah, well, either that or he bet the other way and didn't tell anybody that. It's made another, cool $1 trillion.
No, he wanted him to stay in the EU. And that's the reason why he was over there. He was fear-mongering, going, the end of the world is coming. Better watch out. If you guys leave, it's going to be disastrous.
Well, don't you think this would be something like Soros would want to do? Play to the fears and then bet against it.
He's a self-loathing Jew to begin with.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, the worst of the worst. But it would be interesting to see what his stock portfolio looks like this morning. It would just be interesting. We're never going to see it, but
it would be interesting if we could, to stop oxygen from flowing in his brain.
Well, we'll figure. We'll know when they turn out the next Forbes top 500 richest people in the world. If he's risen from number 23 up to number 15 or something like that, then we know that he actually bet against what he was actually campaigning for. Okay.
Well, now he'll just spend more money into Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Yeah. It'd be like, he's the Pete Rose of politics. So
then we have Michael Moore. Europe, you are better off without Brits. Now that there's a vacancy, take us. We want what Europe has: free healthcare, free college, real beer.
Yeah,
that's Michael Moore. I don't know who this we want. Take us. I don't know what does he mean? Take us. Michael. If you mean Canada, sure, go for it, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I would say he can't be talking about the United States because he's not a United States citizen, as far as I know. But maybe that's where Canada needs to go. They got a prime minister who would fit right in with Cameron. Two of a kind there, and even more telling. I was talking to Joe before the show here, listening to an interview last night on CNN between Christina Manipur and one of the leaders of the British government. I think he's like a sideliner right now, but he used to be. She said that he had been at one time or another probably in every position in British government outside of actually being prime minister. And they were talking, and she asked him specifically, "Do you think that are you guys going to ask for Cameron to step down if the vote goes through?"
Didn't have to.
And he said no. He said because that's not what this is about. She kept trying to lead him down this path of this is just total rebellion against the economy and everything else. He kept telling her, kept bringing her back, saying this isn't about any of that. We expect our economy to work. We expect to be able to work out trade deals with the EU. We expect to have a relationship with them. No, he says I think Cameron should stay on. We're not asking him to leave. We're just saying we want our independence back, and then you govern according to that. And I thought, hey, that's pretty fair. In politics today, it's like, yeah, hang their ass, crucify them if you don't like them. He's like, no, that's not what this is about.
Well, that's not what happened, though, because Cameron this morning resigned. He resigned. First thing, he was like, I'm out of here. Because he knew for the fact that his party wasn't going to let him stay on. No, he's definitely going to suffer. Well, I think he's politically done now. He's gone. He resigned. They're going to have a new prime minister in Great Britain pretty soon. I don't know how long it's going to take, but they're going to have one because they're without one now. But the United States will have our relationship with the Brits.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because they're going to have to pick somebody that best reflects what the people just voted for. And so that what we're going to see, I think what we'll see here is at least, let's say they appoint the prime minister within the next month or so, and what you're going to see.
It'll be it's not going to take long.
Yeah, so you think about Barack Obama now having to come face to face with a prime minister that has been chosen because he opposes everything Obama is for.
Well, maybe he'll just make Obama get in the back of the line.
Yeah, maybe. Well, maybe he'll give Queen Elizabeth back. He'll take back the CD set he gave her.
Yeah. I'm sure she's been playing that day and night.
Yeah, I mean, how many times can you watch Shaft?
He's not even close to Richard Roundtree anyway, or whatever the guy's name was. I mean, come on. I mean, for crying out loud, Shaft. Barack Obama couldn't freaking hold Shaft's a feather out of his little purple hat.
No, I'm just saying. I remember a while back when the Winston Churchill bust thing came up. Remember, he gave back the bust or something like that, and everybody was making a big deal about this. And he went over. I think it was the first time he went to see Queen Elizabeth, and everybody was talking about the gifts. I forgot what Queen Elizabeth sent him, or Prince Charles sent him, or something like that. And they gave him something in historical context or something. Barack Obama gave her some kind of CD set on movies. It was a movie CD set. And the talk that I heard, I can't verify this. That's why I was just taking a shot at it. It was something, kind of like some of those black. Oh no, I know what it was. It was Roots. Gave her some kind of CD collection of all these movies that promote black liberalism or something like that. That kind of stuff. So I was just thinking, I bet you she watched those, huh?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, exactly. She studied them intensely.
So now Obama's going to go over and say, "Well, give me my CDs back."
She's probably going to go, I shredded them years ago. I put them out in the rest of the trash.
Yeah, we use those for skeet shooting.
Yeah, and if you can recall the picture of Barack Obama shooting a shotgun. Yeah.
Yeah, I could just see her now. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Obama. We use those for skeet shooting because they shine so well with the light,
Yeah, and you put that shotgun in your shoulder so well, Barack.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I don't know if you ever saw the movie She's All That. And there's a little exchange between these girls at the beach one day, asking her if she wants to play volleyball, and she says no. And she goes, "Well, that's okay. I've seen you throw a ball before." And she goes, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, you throw like a girl." She goes, "Well, I am a girl." So that kind of thing. Anyway, hey, look, we got to go to a break here. When we come back, we'll have Bob Cardosa from Robert Cardosa Live. I'm itching to see what Bob has to offer us here, because when we floated this past him last week, he didn't think it was going to happen, didn't think it would be a good thing one way or the other. And my initial read from him this morning is that he doesn't think it's a good thing, at least economically. But like I said, that's why we bring him on the show here. Joe and I hit the political stuff. We'll leave the money stuff to him and see what he has to say about it. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We got a lot for you, a lot more coming up. And I think you'll enjoy it all. And what's even more important, you'll learn something from it. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland. Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, along with Joe Hakos, and we're going to add our good buddy here, Bob Cardosa here. 1 second, and let me get him up here. Get ready to call good old Robert over there at Robert Cardosa Live. And, well, if his name shows up here on, oh, there we go. I got to let you know, I got to retrain sometimes. So you got to kind of look at the stuff here. Okay, there we go. All right. And let's get him added to the call here, and we'll get his take. We're going to get Bob's take on what's going on over here with the Brexit vote, because I'm sure he's got a lot to say. How you doing, Bob?
Hey, John, I'm doing good. I was just sitting here thinking, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? And I thought, you know what? I forgot to say whether I was going to call you or you were going to call me.
Well, I normally call you, but I didn't want to bore you with a commercial, so I just waited. By the way, you need to turn your volume up some.
Turn my volume up.
Yeah,
how's that?
There you go. There you are. All right.
All right.
Well,
I'm glad you're in it.
I guess you know where we're at today. The vote in Brexit happened. I guess against all the predictions, all the quote-unquote experts have been befuddled once again, and it's not gone the way they thought it was going to go.
Including me.
What's your initial take on all this?
Well, you know what? I think it's short-sighted. I think what we're going to find when you do a study, when you think in terms of the fact that 72% of the UK voted, and that includes Scotland and Northern Ireland, in out of that, about 52% of them said they wanted to leave. That 52%, when you look at them and you analyze what's going on, turns out to be the kind of the disenfranchised, the poorer people, the unemployed people, the uneducated people that gave no thought that what was going to go on in the economy. And now they're already starting to backpedal, saying they're sorry, they didn't know what the ramifications were going to be. We're already seeing a reaction with not only the stock markets in Europe and worldwide, but here in the United States too. But here in the United States, it's just going to be kind of a temporary thing. But it's going to really hurt the European
dummies. Those poor dummies. Oh my! Those dummies. How dare they want to have their freedom? How dare they have a sovereign nation? How dare they? Those.
Well, they want their freedom, but who the hell is going to protect them now?
Well, and my first response to what you just said, Bob, when you say they're already walking it back, who are they?
Yeah. The people that actually had voted to get out of the European Union, it's the voters themselves are starting to come out saying we didn't understand what the ramifications were. And it's because, John, you and I have talked so many times about voters that don't prepare and don't find out what the issues are and what the ramifications are. They just sometimes go out and vote because somebody said this is the way to go. I think that's really what happened here on this European Union vote.
Well, I think there was more an effort made to keep stay in the EU than there certainly was than the people that wanted to pull out. But I think my take on this, and I know Joe's got some view on it also, my take on it is what I find exciting about this, that people did not consider money in this. That the central theme of this thing was we're not able to determine how we're governed anymore, and that was what set it off. So I don't know, maybe the initial shock of the stock market and everything else might scare people, but I think a week from now these people are going to feel pretty good about what they did. What do you think, Joe? I'll give you a moment there.
I think the exit people, the people that wanted to leave, had not near the capacity as the people that wanted to stay to influence anything. They wanted what they wanted, and the people that wanted to keep them in used every means necessary to frighten and scare people into voting to stay, and it did not work for them.
Well, the thing is that you have to consider so many different options because there are issues that are going on here. Part of what's going on is not only the fact that along the UK, there is an unemployment problem. There's the problem with the immigration. The UK did not want to be subject to this massive immigration that's going on. The people didn't want to be subject to that. They're worried about terrorism and those things. And a lot of what was going on in the minds of those people that made this vote was to try and block immigration. The same thing that Trump is talking about today in the United States, which is surprises me. He's not really taking advantage of what's going on there.
Well, he has come out and stated, but he did a typical Trump thing and completely screwed up. What he did was he came out and he's over in Scotland, and he's out there praising the Scots for voting to exit from the UK. When it was Scotland, 62% of the people did not want to leave.
Right.
So he once again just took something that forbade him at face value and gave credit where credit was not due. And now the people in Scotland are just out there all over the place, calling him a moron. Don't you know that we voted to stay in the European Union?
Oh, yeah. You know the sad part about this whole thing is that as a result of this vote, there's a good chance that Scotland is going to secede from the UK, that North Ireland is going to secede from the UK. Matter of fact, and a number of independent, Finland and Sweden and a number of countries are going to probably want to secede as a result of that. The UK, or the United Kingdom, is going to become just England. It'll be a very small and economically not all that important country anymore. And one of the biggest problems, the UK depended upon the European Union for 44% of its gross national product. So economically, Joe, even though you say in a couple of weeks they're going to be okay, they're already feeling the hurt in that the pound has gone down 35%.
Yeah, from its record high just the other day.
Yeah. Well, and here's my point, Bob, because
just hold on. Just hold your water here, because I think all this is just going to pass. This is more of the stuff that came out from those people that wanted them to stay. This is exactly what was being said prior to the vote yesterday. Exactly all this. So just hold off on all this.
Yeah, well, my thing, here's my question, Bob, is that when we talk about this, up until yesterday, the UK, they use the sterling pound. Okay, that means Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland all use the pound versus the euro.
Right.
Now, if these people pull out of the UK, then they're going to have to convert to the euro. And how is that going to help their economy since the euro is so down anyway?
Well, you know what the thing is the euro is going to even be worse as a result of this. The problem that they're having is that these people are, what's the word I want to use? They have elite thoughts, and they're thinking right now, I believe that they're thinking not about the economy, not about just their jobs, because obviously jobs are down, and if they get this influx of immigration, it's going to be even harder to get jobs. In the UK, just like it is here in the United States, the high-tech jobs have gone over to Asia and the Orient, and so these people are worried about it. And if these immigrants come over, they're going to take those jobs that nobody else wants anyhow, and it's going to hurt their economy. If what winds up happening is that Scotland and Northern Ireland do finally wake up and they say, hey, you know what? We want to have our independence, and if the only way we can do that is to strike away from the UK, then we can do that. We, just like Joe said, we want to be free. We want to be in control of our own destiny. The problem that is going to happen is the UK is going to be gone. It's going to take some time, but this is going to decimate the UK. The only strong country and strong currency that's left in the UK, in the European Union when the UK comes out, is Germany. And Germany will become a dictatorship, so to speak. And then there will be no more. They're going to have to renegotiate every one of their trade deals between every other country that they had trade deals with under the UK that included the. I keep saying the UK, the European Union. So they got to renegotiate all these things. This is going to be a 2-year real mess process.
So you're saying that the UK is done for because they left the European Union?
No, what I meant to say was that the European Union is going to be done for because the UK left it. I actually said it backwards. I got myself. I'm old, Joe.
It's all right, Bob.
It's all right. Well, I think what you're going to see is you're going to see the dismantling of the European Union.
Just so we know, you're old enough to remember that the UK was around before the European Union, correct?
Yes, I am. I traveled in Europe before.
See, that's my point. Is hey, there was a time when there wasn't a European Union, and it seems to me that somehow the UK survived. They survived like World War II.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing I look at. We look at this thing, we say, okay, we're talking about 36 years ago, something that took place 36 years ago, and was the outpouring or the result of the fall of Russia, the Berlin Wall and everything else, and the European Union comes to be. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Like Joe said, the UK has been around longer than probably the Garden of Eden, for crying out loud, and they've managed to survive.
Well, that's true, but think in terms of what's happened. You know, the UK was something that was started as a dream and started to be formulated right after World War II. And the thing is that what made it so prominent was these countries were, because it took time to put those 28 countries together. It was going to be the strength of their economic strength trying to put this stuff together. And the UK never did buy into the monetary side of it.
So Bob, you know what brought the downfall of the EU was the fact that the Soviet Union did disappear, and all these weak Eastern European countries were allowed to enter into the EU. If they were allowed to stay out, then the EU would have been a lot stronger.
Yeah, it would have. It would have, and unfortunately, the real strength of the euro is the inclusion of the UK in the European Union, because that is the backing that was there. Now, the proof of that is now that the UK has come out, you see what's going on with the price of oil and the price of gold. The price of oil has dumped and the price of gold has gone up, because the price of gold now is going to be the substance that supports the currency.
Okay. We got to go to a break. When we come back, I want to examine that a little bit more from the currency standpoint, because as you said, Germany, they still use the mark, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the mark, we got the euro, and we got the pound. And we want to kind of take that and see how that's going to affect the markets in terms of the United States. We'll see if we can make some kind of relationship there. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Okay, hey, we're back. And you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Let's hook back up with our good friend over at Robert Cardoso Live. And that would be none other than Robert Cardoso. And I'm going to try to get him back up here in the line. And we'll finish our discussion here on what's going on with the Brexit vote yesterday. And I'm sure he'll be picking up here in just a moment here, and we'll do that. He's simulcasting right now at the same time we are. That's why we do this way. For those. Okay. All right. Okay, Bob, back to our conversation here. Okay, here's the deal. We're talking about the different currencies that these countries have. Joe just brought it to my attention that Germany actually changed to the euro, but they've never required people to turn the marks back in. There's been no deadline, so it's kind of like a cross-currency thing going on right now.
Germany, actually, you can use either currency, and you can go to the bank in Germany and still get either currency, either the mark or the euro. So it's to me, they've really never come off of it.
Okay.
And if Germany were to secede from the European Union, their mark is already in place, and they don't even miss a heartbeat.
Okay, I get you. So we got that solved. But here's the deal. I'm looking at an article here. Let's see where. Just let me reference this here. The big question looming over the markets after the Brexit bombshell. Okay, now they make a statement in this article here. There's a big question looming over the world markets. Will the Brexit have a ripple effect that spurs other countries to leave the EU or otherwise spurn globalization? Is the exit decision a uniquely British one? Or does it reflect a worldwide electorate so distraught and economically frustrated that similar outcomes should be expected going forward? Now, they get some parameters here, and I wanted to see if I can get an opinion from you here. Let's see, an election in Spain in 2 days from now. Australians go to the polls on July 2nd. Japan goes to the polls on July 10th. Italy in October. And, of course, the U.S. in November. France and Germany hold elections next year. So the question is there going to be more referendums to pull out of the EU? What do you think?
Yeah, I do, and I think you're going to see a lot of it. I think you're going to see Finland come out. You're going to see, I can't think of Switzerland come out. I really do think there's a chance that you're going to see a lot of problems because we now, I was going to say enjoy, but whether you enjoy it or not, we are experiencing a worldwide or global economy, and the economy is tied amongst all of these different countries. When one country gets shaken up, it shakes up the entire economy, which is why you see the World Bank sometimes making loans to Greece, who couldn't qualify for a loan to save its soul, but they do it so that the country doesn't fall into total bankruptcy that would hurt the global economy.
Okay, now let me ask you this question when we talk about currency. We have, like I said, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and the UK, or the Britain make up the UK, and they all utilize the sterling pound. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, you get Scotland's the first one to come up, and Northern Ireland just announced. The Northern League leader Matteo Salvini said they're going to petition also for a referendum, but they want to exit the European Union, whereas Scotland wants to stay in the European Union. Okay, now if Scotland was to say we want to secede from the UK, and so for the purpose of going into the European Union, then they would have to change their currency from the pound to the euro, would they not?
Yes, they would.
Okay, now, knowing that Scotland has a lot of, my understanding is they're very tied in with the oil industry to some degree or another, that's going to be reflected in their ability to export.
Yes, it will.
So,
well, but remember that the European Union, their economy is dependent on the UK and vice versa. And the biggest problem with the global economy is that right now, most all of the European Union and the United States, for that matter, is trying to compete what's the word I want to use? Unsuccessfully, mm-hmm. Because we've got guys making $50 an hour competing with guys that are making 55 cents an hour.
Right. So my question is Scotland then not cutting their own throat?
No, because they already have all of these pounds, John. These pounds, even though they've gone down, I think the last I saw it was like 20 cents or something like that. Anyway, from $1.50 to $1.35 was the last one I saw. Anyway, in any event, the pound is worth more than the euro. It's worth 35% more than the euro. As a result of that, with Scotland having all of these pounds, they're simply going to trade them in for euros, and they're going to get more euros than what they normally would have gotten because of the pound. They will be economically in a better position because they've got more euros in their bank.
So you're saying basically just the possession of more currency, it retains the value? Is that what you're saying? You're just getting like a 2-for-1 swap or something like that?
Yeah. It's sort of like stock splits.
Okay.
You know, and so what winds up happening is that they only have X number of pounds, but those pounds are worth 1.5 times the euro.
Okay, I see. In my mind, I was thinking it would work just the opposite.
No, but I have to tell you this. I believe it's a short-term benefit, because at some point, I don't know how Scotland is ever going to compete on how much Scotch can they make, for gosh sakes.
Yeah.
How are they going to compete on the global market without an infrastructure to support that?
Yeah, well, my thinking would be, we're talking about 3 years now. A transition is supposed to take 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And over the course of that time, with the markets responding the way they do, and if they continued on the trend that they're going on right now, we see the pound continue to be devalued. At some point, that can backfire on Scotland if they did do that currency exchange, could it not?
Yes, it could. And I think that the only reason that Scotland wants to join the European Union is they want to get out from under the thumb of the European or the UK.
Okay, so you think that they believe that they're being subjected, when Joe actually made the comment, and he was just kind of kidding around, they want their freedom. Well, the truth is, Scotland does want their freedom. They want their freedom from the UK. It just seems like
if they wanted their freedom so bad, 2 years ago they had an opportunity to get it.
Yeah. Well, it just seems to me you're just trading one type of oppression for another, if that's your attitude.
Well, yeah, but unless you live there and understand the mindset, it's not there. And Joe, that's the truth. They could have gotten it 3 years ago. They were afraid to get it. The people were threatening them. The same thing has happened right now. Who really believed? All the polls even said that the UK would never pull out of the European Union. Well, and look what happened.
The experts said that they would never leave.
The experts. I said it.
The globalists.
Yeah, the globalists are the experts, the elitists, the establishments. That's the bottom line. My point is this whole thing. Yeah, we're running out of time here, but I just want to make one quick point, Bob. Is that what I'm saying here is that what has happened is that what we're seeing here is that on an international level now, globalism is being rejected. And I think that's a good reflection, and let's hope that it feeds over to here, this election cycle.
Well, I would certainly support that. That's just proof of what everybody is saying about NAFTA and the TPP and all the rest of this stuff. That stuff is just bad for countries. And the other thing is that we're headed for some challenging times right now, and hopefully what'll wind up happening, at least for the United States. We'll have some big shakeups in November, and we'll see exactly who's right, because the shakeups we have in November, if we're lucky enough to have them, will show the world the right way to proceed.
Yeah. So I want to just tell everybody here, you can reach Bob, or you can find out what you need to know about him at Robert Cardosa Live. He streams Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. on the West Coast here, 6 p.m. on the East Coast. I want to thank you again, my friend, for taking the time to join us. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Hey, Thank you, and you guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Okay, guys, right now it's time for the Edwards Notebook, and then we'll pay some bills, and we'll be back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
Should we be promoting work ethic and entrepreneurship to American children, or more Big Brother government? Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, it has been stated that what is taught to one generation dictates the direction the nation takes in the next. So when I see American children being persecuted by big nanny-goat government for doing what I and many others did across America as children, it's more than a bit disconcerting. One of the joys of childhood has always been to strike out on one's own and set up a little lemonade stand. The rewards for operating such a business, including learning responsibility, how to interact with customers, and earn a little money, and learn general entrepreneurship, etc., all good stuff. So now big nanny-goat government in states like Louisiana have decided to be a killjoy and ticket young lemonade stand operators for not having a license. So instead of allowing American children to learn and benefit from positive free market activities and lessons, Big government is on the muscle, teaching children that it's okay for big government to bully people, ruin business activity, and so on, and that you too can grow up to be a big government pain in the backside. I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Akos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Akos.
All right, hey, we're back. Hour 2. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Akos. Hey, I want to spend a moment here just kind of summon a couple things up here with our discussion with Robert Cardoso over at Robert Cardoso Live. And, Joe reminded me of this during the break here, and we really need to reiterate this. The cause of the Brexit vote was not the economy. It was nothing about the economy, other than the fact that maybe the influx of immigrants coming into countries through the EU relationship would affect adversely the economy in whatever part of the world they were coming into. Much like we talk about how Mexicans coming up here from the South affect jobs here in the United States. But that isn't what was putting the fear of the EU conglomerate over there into the hearts of the people that decided they wanted to pull out. It was the border problem. That was the big issue. When you listen to the majority of people that supported pulling out of the EU, it was based on the fact that they had no say-so as to how their borders were being protected. And when we talked about this earlier, you get if you're a member of the EU, you get a passport that allows you to travel freely amongst all these countries that are in the EU. That's not a real promising thing when you've got people funneling down into some of these third world banana republics that are tied in with the EU, and then from there just easily getting out of that country into someplace else where they can do what they've been doing, and that is terrorizing. So that was the main reason. It was border security and not having enough say in issues like border security. Am I reading this right, Joe?
Yeah, the referendum started out with not economic issues. It started out. It was motivated by immigration and border control.
Right.
Basically, you wanted to have sovereignty over how people were allowed to come into your country, to stay in your country, because these people were being allowed to come into your country and stay there. You had no say in it. If you were in England, you had no say in it. Brussels would tell you exactly what was going to go on. And I'm sorry, but David Cameron was their now going to be soon to be former prime minister, was lying to his own people. He was saying, I am going to make this, and there's only going to be 100,000 immigrants coming into our nation, to our lovely United Kingdom. And what happened? He let 300,000 come in there and kept on going, well, that's the way it is. It's the way we're going to, but don't worry, I'm going to fix that. And I'm going to make sure that the only 100,000 are allowed back into for the next year. And then you had the guy that's over, Juncker, over running the European Union, going, oh, no, you're not. The deal is the deal. We are going to, what you have now is what you're going to have. And then the deal is 300,000. I don't care what Cameron says. And that's what upset people. And now you have people, same in France. All those people you read, responses, France, do they have a problem with Muslim migration in France? I would think, yes, they do. They have a problem with Muslim migration in Germany. Yes, they do. But Angela Merkel needs to have these people come into her country because, let's face it, just a few short years ago, half her nation was on the other side of the Iron Curtain. And when the Iron Curtain fell, that economy was absorbed by the Germans, and now their economy was not what it needed to be. It was not what the West Germany had. And then all of a sudden, it took this long for Germany's economy to get to where it's at now. Now, Merkel thinks she can go ahead and control everything that goes on in the European continent. And the Brits were like, no, we're not going to have this anymore.
Yeah, well, the situation we're looking at here, as we said just before the break here, we're looking at how other countries are going to be responding to this type of thing, the trickle-down effect, and the common thread amongst it all is there's going to be some kind of economic reprisal for this, but still the underlying theme is the immigration. It seems to be the common thread, is that people are just worried about this lack of protecting borders and just letting people come into the country for whatever reason.
It's just not people, though, John. This really got out of hand when the Muslim migration came into being. And just last last January in Cologne, Germany, you had massive rapes of German women in a public square, and the German government decided they were going to go ahead and squelch it. And if you talked about it, it was hate speech, and you couldn't even report on it. It was 3 days before you were even allowed to report on it, finally.
Yeah.
That was just the tip of the iceberg that's gone on in every single country in Europe.
Well, let's look at this. Let's look at this one aspect of this. We're going to play. I want to play this clip for you here, and this is Barack Obama back in April of this year, out here warning people against joining or exiting the EU.
Do we got time for this?
And the reason I want to play this is because what the investors out there, the people that look at the stock market and look at this kind of stuff, what they're saying right now, that actually America will benefit from this. Okay, they will benefit from this this change, basically because of the fact that it's affecting the value of the euro and the pound, and America the dollar will become stronger because of this, and this will benefit us. But I want you to listen to Barack Obama's doom and gloom on this, because this contrast in analysis points to exactly what globalism is really about in the eyes of the elitists. Now, there's certainly the globalists like the Republican Party. It's all about money.
Yep.
Okay, but there's a political globalism that's all about power, and that's from people like Obama. Now, money and power interface with each other. One feeds the other. But when you talk about Republican establishment or elitists, you're talking about capitalism. When you talk about liberal elitism and establishment, you're talking about power, central planning, control. So there's a big difference here. But I'm going to play this. I want to play this clip. This is back in April of this year. And this is Barack Obama speaking to the UK.
Maybe some point down the line there might be a UK-U.S. trade agreement, but it's not going to happen anytime soon because our focus is in negotiating with a big bloc, the European Union, to get a trade agreement done. And UK is going to be in the back of the queue. Not because we don't have a special relationship, but because given the heavy lift on any trade agreement, us having access to a big market with a lot of countries rather than trying to do piecemeal trade agreements is hugely inefficient.
Okay, so it's not. We're not going to have a problem here because of the great special relationship that we have with our partners and our allies over here in the United Kingdom. It's going to be because they'll just be too small to deal with. That's basically what he's saying. You're going to be small time now if you do this. And we want to deal with the big boys. We want to deal with the EU. Now, just for a second here, let's just look at that, what we were talking about in the first hour. The value of the pound compared to the value of the euro. Okay, there is no match. The euro is down. The last time I looked, it might be lower today because of everything that's going on. But just before the vote, it was at about $1.13. $1.13 for every euro. And the pound was, $1.40 something, I think almost $1.50, I believe. And, okay, the pound has dropped. I think the last reading I got was it's down to like $1.30. It might be lower now because I checked it this morning. I don't know. The stock market's dropped a lot of points today, so I'm not really sure what it closed at. But the point being is, if the experts or the analysis, the people that actually do this for a living, the people that have to invest for a living, are saying this is going to benefit the American economy, you would think somebody like Barack Obama would look at that and say, well, it would be good for an exit out of the European Union if it's going to benefit our economy. You know, the economy that he thinks about, last thing that he does at night and the first thing he does in the morning, the job creation that he's always talking about. We got to create jobs. You would think that something that would spur the value of the dollar would be first and foremost on his list of saying, hey, we'd want this. But that's not what it's about, because that's not, in the eyes of Obama, that's not what globalization is about. Globalization is about centralization of power. It's about bringing everything into a central place, the UN or whatever it is he wants it to end up at, to have this panel that nobody knows about and does, the head of NATO. Who the hell is the head of NATO right now? Does anybody know?
Some general.
Does anybody care?
No.
No, okay. So the idea is to be able to come into some central planning place that nobody's paying attention to, by the way, because that's how liberals operate. Out of eyesight, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind, right? Out of mind. And being able to do what you want to do until they slam you with it. They lay it on you and you're sitting there going, whoa, what the hell just happened? That's what happened in the EU. It's going along supposedly looking really good, kind of, yeah, cool. And then all of a sudden they wake up one morning and go, oh, wait a minute, this isn't what we signed up for. This isn't what we wanted to do. So anyway, I just know we got to go for a break. We kind of went over our short segment here, but we'll be back. I got another clip I want to play for you, and you'll get even more out of that. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Right now, time for Moments of Madness. Today on Moments of Madness. Now that Hillary's $12,000 Armani jacket has been stored away with more concern for its security than her email server, we can take a presumptive look at what her campaign, as well as the DNC platform and what she will run, will look like, providing, of course, plans do not change from running for office to being fitted for an orange jumpsuit complete with her own monogrammed inmate number. Bernie Sanders' strong finish in the last of the national primaries. He won Montana and North Dakota, finished close everywhere else, and was only blown out in New Mexico, has earned him a secret meeting with Obama. One we can presume will seek to find common ground on how open the DNC should be in their evolving transformation of the United States of America, from republicanism with its greedy capitalistic economic system to the Marxist wealth redistribution model Obama envisions, utilizing creative destruction, the transferring of independent wealth to the coffers of central planners. The GOP platform will be no different, dealing with the fallout of Donald Trump's populist tsunami, one that shows no signs of letting up. The GOP establishment is plotting their survival course by attempting to prove the only attire Trump is fit to wear is a straitjacket, complete with accessorized restraining straps. Their platform also promises to be an experiment in evolutionary monetarism, as they paint their planks Obama blue while trying to convince us it is still Reagan red. So intent are they to destroy Trump, they are still trying to sell the idea an independent candidate of their choice can once again dupe their base into supporting their false narrative that limited government can only be achieved through unlimited compromise. Here's the madness. One thing we can be sure of, we won't have to worry about either side taking time to articulate how their respective positions are going to reduce poverty, restore racial tranquility, and save the world from that nasty JV team in the Middle East. Paul Ryan's latest attempt at putting together a blueprint of recovery, this time entitled A Better Way. Remember the path toward prosperity? Yeah, neither do I. Prefaces his rehashed plan with a benevolent scolding of those who oppose the establishment, having no part in finding a solution, as if to imply identifying and debating the problems we face today are irrelevant in the process of finding much-needed answers. We can complain about it, referring to our current direction, but that won't change things, Speaker Ryan begins, and he's right. As far as we can tell, our complaints have fallen on the deaf ears of him and his cronies for at least the last 4 election cycles. The Democrats? Not much better there either. They'll just continue to lie, spin, and deceive their base into believing the only thing that has inhibited Obama's grand plan of transformation is time and seats on the Supreme Court bench. I wouldn't be surprised if their platform consists of one sentence: see previous administration. So what can we expect in a race that both sides claim is crucial to our survival, but have geared their campaigns based primarily on populist rhetoric embraced by an ignorant electorate? We can expect to be further nurtured and exploited at our expense by both sides. From the left, we can expect to be inundated with verbal gaffes elevated to policy positions by the media, racial and gender tensions to be played as the defining factor in job qualifications, as well as patriotic indicators by their nominee. Scandals as nothing more than a justifiable means to an end, and of course the promise of socio-economic equality at the expense of American exceptionalism, which preaches opportunity over entitlement. From the other side, we can expect rhetorical unity to hide fear and disdain for those of us who have placed them in office. We can expect the same promises made to us, repackaged to appeal to those who historically support the likes of Obama and Clinton. Join us so that we can stop the Democrats' destruction of America. Give us the chance to lie to you. Is there a bright side? Perhaps. Hillary Clinton speaking on election night, once again adorned in her Armani jacket, announcing she has won the election, but will spend her first 100 days trying to avoid having to replace it with that orange jumpsuit sounds good. Or breaking news, the GOP establishment folks are lining up and jumping out of their Plaza Suite windows. Either scenario has got to be the silver lining on the storm that is quickly descending upon us. This reminds me, I need a new umbrella. This is John Matthews for Moments of Madness. Hey, we're back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And I just played you a clip just before the break here. Barack Obama dressing down or basically threatening the UK back in April of this year, the consequences of trade deals should they decide to actually leave the European Union, and they would be queued back. They'd be put at the back of the line kind of thing. And, that they wouldn't be the priority. They wouldn't be the deal that everything's supposed to, they wouldn't get what they want. But yet the financial experts today are saying that there could be trade wars with the UK. So that trade wars means that the UK might have an advantage of being able to maybe be in at the back of the line, allows you to maybe give some deep discounts, something like that. Who knows? Maybe volume becomes the name of the game. What can you move in volume? I don't know. I don't know what resources the UK really offers the rest of the world, so that's hard for me. They're not an oil refinery or anything else, so I don't know how that works. But I think it's just interesting that we can benefit. The financial people are saying the United States can actually benefit from this, and yet Barack Obama is out there threatening them and basically downplaying any economic advantage that we would have, because his intent is the centralization of power, not the economy so much. The economy is one of the elements, but it's being able he espouses what the European Union is about, and that is control of everything and everybody. So, Joe, you had a comment you wanted to make.
Yeah, the fact is our media is downplaying the effect of Obama's comment about getting in the back of the queue, about his comment had on this particular referendum where the Brits said, hey, we're out of here. We're leaving the European Union. And just reading from our friends over at Newsmax, and they were talking about, after Barack Obama said this, former London Mayor Boris Johnson, who was a staunch opponent for remaining in the EU, he wanted to leave, and allowing unbridled immigration, blasted Obama's remarks as paradoxical, inconsistent, and incoherent. The Daily Mail editorial was equally brutal of Obama and the anti-Brexit interference, saying Obama had shown contempt for the voters. Sound familiar? The tone was patronizing, the language menacing, and the message not only hypocritical, but frankly insulting. It added, he has no business to come here and preach that submission to Brussels is good for the people of the UK. And polls of the British voters suggested that all four polls taken after the aftermath of Obama's remarks made by a president widely perceived to be an avatar of globalism, and this is from April, mind you. Avatar of globalism showed a shift in favor of leaving the EU by between 1 and 4 percentage points. How much did they win by yesterday?
2.
Yeah. 2? No, I think 4. 48 to 52.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. As soon as Air Force One departed British airspace.
Yeah.
So, hey, yes, he did have an effect on it. Basically, Barack Obama put his nose in there, said globalism is the greatest thing in the world, and that the Brits leave, they're going to be left out in the cold. And the Brits still said, up yours, Barack. You don't know diddly squat, and who are you to tell the Brits on what to do?
Well, that's one of the things that let me reiterate here. When I was in the British Isle, Lourdes and I were talking last night how coincidental it was that we were in the British Isle just 2 weeks ago. And now, we understand a lot more about how this went down by talking to people that were from England and Australia and Scotland and Ireland, and getting, firsthand account of what was going on. And none of these people really have any respect for Barack Obama. Barack Obama is a legend in his own mind. And when I'm over in the Philippines, everybody thinks Obama is, King Tut over in the Philippines. Well, he's popular because he espouses immigration, illegal or otherwise. But when people talk about his leadership ability and everything else, I can tell you I can find one person that likes him for every 10 that doesn't. And this situation here, like Joe's just talking about, Nigel Farage, who is the head of the United Kingdom Independence Party, said that President Obama threatened Britain. He said that he threatened to put us at the back of the queue, and basically he basically insulted the voters by doing so, by basically coming over here and trying to politicize and bully us in here. And he says, threatening people insults their intelligence. Don't threaten people repeatedly, because if you do, in the end, they think you're crying wolf and they won't believe you. It's Project Fear. Or in the end, when Obama came, it was Project Fear. So they knew what was going on here. And even Prime Minister David Cameron, he goes on to say this: the lessons learned from Obama's visit is fascinating. Here is the most powerful man in the world coming from a country that we have always had a huge regard for. And people in Britain listening to Obama said, how dare the American president come here and tell us what to do? And it backfired.
Yeah. And some people over in Britain actually thought that came from Cameron's office. It might as well have been written from 10 Downing Street. Yeah. So it tells you what they thought about that, because they knew where Cameron was coming from. Cameron wanted to stay in the EU.
Right. So this idea of insulting people or trying to bully him, and he does that in our country all the time. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's just today. This is from the Daily Caller from just today. Here's Joe Biden. Both Biden and Obama emphasized the administration's respect for the referendum and America's commitment to maintain a special relationship with the UK. Yeah, so we can maybe we'll get the bust back from Winnie's bust. Biden followed that commitment by saying some politicians find it convenient to scapegoat immigrants instead of welcoming them, play to our fears rather than appeal to our better natures, divide us based on religion or ethnicity rather than unite us in our common humanity, and build walls between nations when we should be building bridges among us. Yeah, and see, this guy is so lost in his ideology. He doesn't even understand when he's been bitch slapped. It's like, that's what this is. Or let's call it Brit slapped. You were just Brit slapped. Yes, Joe. and you're still sitting here espousing this. I want to play you this clip. This is the last clip I have for today, but I want to play this. This is Barack Obama today. Ooh. Just today, his comment on what happened yesterday in the Brexit vote. And I may stop it midstream here. It's only about 1 minute and 30 seconds long. It's not that big. But I just want to make a couple of comments here, because here's another lesson in liberal doublespeak. That's why I'm playing it. Barack Obama today.
I'm going to start with the British people's decision to leave the European Union, the vote that took place yesterday. Just a few hours ago, I spoke with Prime Minister David Cameron. David has been an outstanding friend and partner on the global stage, and based on our conversation, I'm confident that the UK is committed to an orderly transition out of the EU. We agreed that our economic and financial teams will remain in close contact as we stay focused on ensuring economic growth and financial stability.
There's the first comment. First of all, Cameron's not there anymore, dude. Okay? So any agreement you just made with him is null and void. But the point being is, everything he just said made absolutely no sense. Yeah, we're going to make sure the transition goes blah, blah, blah. You're just talking out of your butt. You're just talking.
Right now, we're going to keep Britain on our speed dial. We're not going to remove Britain's phone number from our phone.
Yeah. It's you're not going to do anything at this point in time, but watch what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? You sit there and tell me, yeah, you've got your people on top of it. You got your team there. Everybody's watching. We're all talking. We're going to ensure everything is okay. You don't know diddly squat. You thought you were going to be able to bully people into doing this, staying in the EU. They didn't. They didn't listen to you then. They're not listening to you now, you horse's ass. So we got to take a break here. When we come back, I'm going to play the rest of the clip for you, and we'll make comment on it. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
All right, hey, we're back, and you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and I want to get back to this clip. We played part of it for you just before the break there. Obama giving us, another discombobulated semblance of words, just taking a bunch of words. Sometimes I think these guys probably have a little word game that they play, dartboards or whatever. Let's take all these words and try to put them in a sentence. And it really, within context, means absolutely nothing. It's just liberal doublespeak. Sounds kind of pseudo-intellectual and sometimes sounds like, oh, yeah, he's really addressing something. The pseudo-intellectuals listen to him and ooh and ah because he used all the big words, that kind of stuff. And but it means absolutely nothing. And I'm going to continue the clip right now. President Obama commenting on the outcome of the Brexit vote right now.
I then spoke to Chancellor Merkel of Germany, and we agreed that the United States and our European allies will work closely together in the weeks and months ahead. I do think that yesterday's vote...
Okay, they're going to work together in the weeks and months ahead. Doing what?
Yeah, what does Merkel have to do with Britain?
Yeah, and what is you and your allies and everybody, what are you going to be doing, working in the weeks ahead? To do what?
Angela, they rejected our notion. They just didn't want to listen to us, Angela. Now we're going to have to do this without the UK.
Yeah, I'm just like, give me some meat here. You're throwing me a freaking bone. Give me some meat. You've got your staff on top of this. Your team's working, and you're gonna help this transition work. Like what are you going to do, Barack Obama, to make this go any smoother? In any way, shape, form, or fashion.
He's not going to do a damn thing.
Because he can't. He has no control over this.
Thank you. You know who's going to make it harder on the Brits? Is Merkel. She's going to try to get concessions out of the Brits when they leave the EU, because this transition is going to take some time. Merkel's going to make it difficult. Now, if Obama and Merkel are conspiring to make things more difficult on the Brits, to make it harder on the British people, which I can definitely see that happening. I can see Barack Obama doing that because he really doesn't care about people. He only cares about his ideology and his legacy.
I can see him trying to work and conspire to destroy any potential trade deals that the UK might want to work at this point in time. Yeah. I can see him continuing to try to keep the American dollar from gaining any value, because this isn't a guy that wants to create an economy that is prosperous and raises people up out of poverty. He wants an economy that pushes people down and makes them all encumbered to the government.
Yeah, I mean, if he wanted people to actually grow and prosper, well, we've already seen that in our own economy, and we have not seen any of that. We've seen the growth of part-time workers.
Yeah.
In our economy, that's what we've seen the growth of.
Yeah, the
full-time
underemployed.
Workers, no.
Yeah, the underemployed and the part-time community. All right, let's get to the rest of this clip here, and here we go.
It speaks to the ongoing changes and challenges that are raised by globalization.
Yeah. Okay. Now, here's the catch, guys. Here's the catch. He tries to put that in a somewhat semi-negative context for the purpose of maybe trying to make you think that he's not for globalization. Okay? And say, okay, well, yeah, this is all about people that are saying, they don't want it, they're against globalization. The context and the tone is Yeah, I agree with him. Okay, yeah, we got to worry about globalization when in fact that's exactly what he wants.
Yeah, he does not agree with the Brexit. He wants globalization. He's done everything to enhance globalization.
Yeah, when he steps into the office of the head of the UN, he wants the United States right there.
Well, that reminds. Remember that phrase, the UN, John. I got something for that one.
Okay, all right. Here, let's listen to the rest of the clip here.
But while the UK's relationship with the EU will change, one thing that will not change is the special relationship that exists between our two nations. That will endure. The EU will remain one of our indispensable partners. Our NATO alliance will remain a cornerstone of global security, and in a few weeks we'll be meeting in Warsaw for the NATO summit. And our shared values, including our commitment to democracy and pluralism and opportunity for all people in a globalized world. That will continue to unite all of us.
Okay, so now he's telling us he's all for democracy and people being able to express their views and being able to basically govern themselves, but he doesn't. He doesn't really want that. There's nothing that has come out of this man's mouth, or nothing that has signed any of his documents, out of his ink pen, his pen and his phone. None of these things have ever done anything to advance the idea of the individual having any say as to how the government operates and what their limitations are. Of course, no.
You said the right word there, individual. Pluralism. Let's look at that. A political theory or system of power sharing among a number of political parties. Yeah, nothing there says individual at all.
No, there's nothing. And in referring to a democracy rather than republicanism or any other word. When you hear leftists use the word democracy, they're not talking about the will of the people. They're talking about the noise of the mob.
Yes, exactly. The mob, the noise of the wolves, which the wolves fighting over who's going to eat the sheep.
Right, exactly. So, and you had something now. You said remember some phrase which I have absolutely forgotten.
which was the UN. You talked about the UN.
Yeah,
and so here I think it's time for the U.S. to have a referendum, because right now. I think the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, will turn into our EU madness if allowed to happen. But I think we already have something similar to that, and that would be the United Nations. We should have a referendum in this country to get us out of the UN, and at least take the UN and send it to some other place, some other location, not on our soil. Send it to Havana, send it to Paris, send it somewhere, send it to Brussels, send it somewhere else besides here. Do not have it here on this continent anymore, in our country. Send it to Quebec. I don't care if it's on this continent. Just get it the hell out of the United States, because the UN is useless. It has done more harm to American interests than any other organization in the last, 60 years.
Well, one of the things that we were talking about earlier, we didn't get to it in the article, but one of the things that seems rather obvious, and one of the things the financial analysts are looking at much more than the political commentators, is the trickle-down effect here as to what's going to happen here. They're already saying, with all these, they got upcoming elections. We just read them off to you. Spain, Italy, Germany's having elections next year. We've got elections this year. And it seems that there seems to be a sense of unity, at least in the idea that the immigration issues that we're all facing as a world, as a global unity now, a global unit. I don't want to use words like the collective or anything else, but just individually and collectively, everybody seems to be concerned about the same thing right now, and that is terrorism. It's risen from the bottom of the list to the top of the list as things people are concerned about. And so now what we're seeing is other countries that are members of the EU are also floating the idea of pulling out there for the same reasons. So if this is the narrative that's being shaped right now, is that we need to get out, that the EU needs to dissolve so that people can get back to protecting their own borders the way that they want to protect them, then it makes only sense that a country like the United States should be looking at the UN and saying, we don't really need to be a part of them anymore either. Because what are they doing? They're advancing, they're espousing, they're recommending, they're encouraging the very globalization that is bringing about this rise in terrorism and this threatening the security of people,
yes,
individually and collectively, and is bringing about this persecution of other beliefs beyond anything. I mean, I one of the biggest things I can't figure out is how people are not blasting Obama and Hillary Clinton, who want to support Islam, a religion that wants to kill homosexuals, and all they can do is look at the Christian community, who only wants to save the homosexuals. We're not out there saying, hey, let's round all the homosexuals up and castrate them and kill them or anything else. We're saying, when we come after them, like this whole thing about hate, we need to disarm hate. A real Christian doesn't hate people.
No.
A real Christian hates what it takes people's lives. A real Christian hates sin, the things that bring people down, the things that put them into enslavement to their addictions and their habits, and the things that will keep them from enjoying the life. We're not talking about killing homosexuals. We're talking about getting them to a place where they understand they're not designed to be that way, and they should be what they were really designed to be. And there they'll find the happiness and the peace they're looking for. There you go. That's what it's all about. Anyway, we got to go to break. I was getting ready to preach. I'm going to stop myself there. All right, stay with us, guys. We'll be right back. Right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. All right, hey, we're back. I want to remind you, over the course of the weekend here, when you're sitting at your computer wondering how you're going to pass your time, whatever it is you do on the computers over the weekend, pull up our show at theconservativesyndicate.net and listen to this show or any of our shows, any of our archives that are out there. And, time well spent. Time well spent. I want to just get back here and try to sum this thing up. CNN just put an article out, and I just find it kind of interesting. I want to share this with you here, having to do with the Brexit vote and the trickle-down effect that we're talking about, that we're trying to
Hey, John, this is not a trickle-down effect. This has been going on for quite a while now. Just the Brexit is the first domino to fall, okay?
Well, I guess that's what I mean. I should have used the word domino effect. We've got one that has made the move, and we're already hearing reverberations from it. Tremors out there that maybe some of the other countries involved in the EU in particular.
Yes, because they've been at this for a while now. These other countries have had this sentiment growing and growing and growing inside their own countries for quite a while now.
Yeah. Now, I'm just going to read you this one paragraph out of this CNN article that just came out. The United Kingdom's vote to leave the European Union is part of a tsunami of anti-establishment sentiment washing over a bitterly divided region. The decision upended global markets. As I said, now they're trying to play the global thing like we've been talking about. It's all about the economy. Led to UK Prime Minister David Cameron's plans to resign and blew a cloud of uncertainty over Europe. Okay, there's the sensationalism that they want. Okay, now, it says here, but here it goes on. And the UK isn't alone. Anti-establishment leaders in France and other countries are already pushing similar referendums. So this is what Joe is saying. This is something that's been brewing for a while, and England has just kind of put it in motion. They're the ones that they've pulled it off. They've shown that they can do it. I think one of the comments, one of the representatives of the Leave movement over there was, "We have shown that the establishment can be beaten."
Yes.
Okay,
because they put all their efforts and all their monetary weight behind the campaign to stay.
Right. Now, let me read you just a couple of the things that are going on here. Europe's anti-establishment shakeup. And not everything is working towards republicanism or democracy. Some of it's going the other way. But the point being is the establishment on both sides of the aisle is being attacked. And
it is towards nationalism, though.
Right. Well, yeah. Like I said, it says here that Italy has their first female mayor in 2,800 years. Okay, minor stuff. Who the hell cares? Austria, migrant crisis alters Austrian election. Migrant crisis. Okay, maybe we could call that illegal immigration or refugees. All right. Yeah, Germany, anti-Islam movement swells with refugee crisis.
Ooh.
France endorses refugee ban.
Ooh.
Greece wants to go to a nationalist state. Denmark, dismal race to the bottom. Scotland, independence referendum. They want to be able to pull away from the UK. Spain, migration hardline. Again, we're back to immigration. Netherlands, anti-immigration leader as prime minister. Northern Ireland, Irish unity referendum. What does that mean? They want to reunite with Southern Ireland? But the point being is that most of this stuff is being geared and generated by the issue of immigration or refugees or migrants, whatever phrase or word you want to tag to it, depending on your political correctness. But it is about immigration.
So what the bottom line is on this? So what happened with the Brexit is their leadership throughout Europe has been put on notice. You either protect your citizens or you're gone.
Yeah, you need to get off this New World Order concept that you're going to make everybody accept everybody else on the terms that you establish, and by doing that, you're going to bring your utopian existence, the utopian existence that everybody believes is going to happen. Let's pander to the people that want to slit our throats, and they'll like us, and they won't want to slit our throats anymore.
Yeah, right.
You know, that's the general perception here. Okay, so it is something that's going on. Now, my point for saying this is, if this continues the way it's going, and if Trump can put his mouth into, if he can break and think before he speaks, instead of just wanting to be out there with some little quippy thing that ends up coming back and biting him in the ass after he says it, like, oh yeah, Scotland, yay, they voted to pull out of the EU. No, we didn't vote to pull out of the EU. Everybody else did. We just didn't have enough people to keep it from happening, all right? So if he can do that and he can stay on message and he can come back to the States here and start pounding these two elements, we need the wall. I'll use that phrase just to encompass the idea that we need to do something about our immigration problem.
There you go.
I'm not saying build a wall. I'm saying that's the context, okay? And Hillary Clinton is a crook. She's corrupt. She's evil. If he can stay on message with that, then what's happening over in the EU can...
Not only that, Hillary Clinton's corrupt and crooked. Hillary Clinton wants to maintain the policies that Barack Obama's had for the last 8 years, which are not working.
Yeah, she wants to advance and expand on the very thing that right now in Europe is causing all of this problem.
Raj, there you go.
Okay? She wants, we need to have, I think as Joe said, our own Brexit. We need to Brexit from the UN. We need to Brexit referendum on the Democrat Party. We need we need to get back to what America is about, and that is individual responsibility and accountability and opportunity versus entitlement. And get back to the concept of American exceptionalism instead of just pandering and trying to become what everybody else is. It isn't going to work.
Yeah, let's be Americans here. You know what though? I'd like to get the corner of the market on binkies or pacifiers and send them all to Philadelphia next month at the Democratic Convention and hand them all out so they could all have a little pacifier when they throw little hissy fits.
My thought is this. I was thinking this as I was watching all these fat old politicians. And if John Lewis is the new icon of the Democrat Party, you guys got a big problem. This guy looks like a retarded pit bull. It's just looking at the guy. But anyway, that aside, I'm really nobody to make fun of somebody else's looks. But that aside, I thought, you know what we need to do? We need to send every one of these people over to the Middle East, drop them off, and say, now go fix your problems with ISIS. That's what we need to do. Let's just
see if they love you.
Yeah.
See if they won't necessarily kill you with a firearm. They'll just use a machete or knife.
Yeah. Let's let you think these people are so great and so grand. You go over and talk to them, okay? Don't spend your time sitting on the Congress floor. Go over there and talk to them.
Well, John, it's the end of another wonderful week.
Yeah, I know. It's time for, we're at the end of the show here, and since it's Friday, it's time for Raise 'em Up. And then we'll be back on the air Monday, 3 o'clock out here on the West Coast, 6 o'clock on the East Coast. Again, we thank you for your loyalty. We love you all. Visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. God bless you.
Guide me to who you want me to help. Raise up more that will call upon your name. Raise up those that love you and seek you and trust you. Raise them up, Lord. Raise them up. Lord, we need a generation of believers who are not ashamed of the gospel. We need an army of believers, Lord, that hate to be lukewarm and will stand on your word above all else. Raise them up, Lord. Raise them up. I pray for unity among those that love you. I pray that you open their eyes so that they can see your truth, Lord. I pray for your hand of protection and guidance. Raise up a generation, Lord, that will take light into this world, that will not compromise when under pressure, that will not cower, Lord, when others fall away. Raise them up, Lord, that they will proclaim that there is salvation in the name of Jesus Christ. Raise up warriors, Lord, who will fight on their knees, who will worship you with their whole hearts, Lord. Lord, call us to battle, that we may proclaim you King of kings and Lord of lords. I pray these things with all my heart. Raise them up, Lord, raise them up.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.